Before we enter into prayer, let us pause to receive God's word and unite our hearts in communion with Him. In our contemporary society, ease and convenience have become nearly essential expectations. We have been trained to anticipate rapid results, effortless solutions, and minimal opposition. Our preference leans towards simplification, predictability, and well-organized outcomes. We flee from discomfort at every opportunity, and any circumstance that introduces tension, postponement, or hardship feels like a personal affront or even defeat. However, existence was never designed to be devoid of examinations. The Almighty never guaranteed that our spiritual journey would be without obstacles, yet He did assure us of His constant presence throughout every challenge. Periodically, life will present you with circumstances that disturb your tranquility, extend your patience, and examine your moral fiber. These examinations will not always manifest as obvious adversities. Often they appear concealed within ordinary circumstances. A demanding occupation, an inconsiderate neighbor, a defiant child, a treacherous friend, an extended period of waiting that seems endless. These occurrences are not coincidental. They represent evaluations of your faith, your compassion, your discipline, and your commitment to remain steadfast when circumstances oppose your desires. Sometimes the examination concerns not your capacity for endurance, but rather the person you become throughout the experience. The focus shifts from demonstrating your fortitude to purifying your spirit. Nevertheless, many individuals find the concept that God Himself permits these trials to be disturbing. Is He not benevolent? Why would a compassionate Father subject His children to suffering? Why not simply bestow blessings without the accompanying struggles? Here lies the truth. God prioritizes your transformation over your temporary ease. He perceives your entire existence, not merely the present moment you occupy. Like a prudent parent or an expert craftsman, He understands that without examination, we would remain spiritually undeveloped and vulnerable. James 1:2-3 presents this audacious proclamation. Consider it complete joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you encounter trials of various kinds, because you understand that the testing of your faith develops perseverance. This concept appears contradictory to our natural thinking, does it not? Finding joy amid trials. How can something that causes pain become a source of celebration? James is not instructing us to find pleasure in suffering. He encourages us to comprehend what that suffering accomplishes within us. It generates something everlasting. It cultivates perseverance, endurance, and an unshakable faith that cannot be toppled by life's storms. Proverbs 17:3 provides a compelling illustration of this necessity. Fire examines the purity of silver and gold, but the Lord examines the heart. Gold cannot be purified through water immersion. It requires fire. The extreme temperature draws impurities to the surface for removal. Similarly, the flames of adversity often reveal what lies hidden within us, our anxieties, our arrogance, our dependencies, our resentment, enabling God to eliminate them and transform us into Christ's likeness. For gold to achieve refinement, it must endure the flames. For your heart to attain purity, God will permit its testing. We frequently assume that discomfort or difficulty cannot originate from God. This assumption is not always accurate. Sometimes apparent setbacks actually establish foundations for growth. Sometimes perceived attacks actually invite deeper intimacy with the divine. Sometimes the pain you experience represents the precise pressure God employs to mold you into someone who more completely reflects His character. The trials God allows are not intended for destruction. They aim for completion. James continues in verse 4, "Allow perseverance to complete its work, so that you may become mature and complete, lacking nothing." In other words, do not flee from the process. Do not interrupt God's work simply because it feels uncomfortable. Purpose exists within the pressure. Every trial you navigate serves as an instrument in the hands of a loving God who shapes you for greater purposes. Through trials, we evolve from superficial believers into mature disciples. During storms, we learn to grasp Jesus firmly. In waiting periods, we develop patience. Through betrayal, we learn forgiveness. In weakness, we learn dependence. In flames, our faith achieves refinement. This explains why our perspective holds such significance. If you perceive every hardship as a curse, bitterness will dominate your life. However, if you view it as a classroom, a refining fire, a moment where God develops you, then you can traverse even the most challenging seasons with hope. James 1:12 offers this assurance. Blessed is the individual who perseveres under trial, because having passed the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. Rewards await those who endure, not only in eternity but presently. With each past test, your faith becomes more authentic, your peace deepens, your trust in God strengthens. You begin recognizing that faith extends beyond belief. It becomes your lifestyle. However, here is what frequently occurs. When intensity increases, we forget God's purposes. We become obsessed with the trial itself and overlook the teacher standing beside us in the flames. We begin questioning, "Why me?" instead of asking, "Lord, what are you revealing through this?" In that moment, we risk missing the beautiful testimony God composes through our lives. Every test you traverse with Jesus becomes a narrative of his goodness. Every season you survive with intact faith becomes a declaration of your God's faithfulness. Even when strength eludes you, even when you barely survive, he observes your perseverance. He honors your faith. He will never allow your pain,